Hi and welcome to my Digdata brief sort of project breakdown. What I'm going to be doing is going through my sketchbook and just giving you a bit of information as to what my information is, or what my background, sort of where I was going with my project. So again, sort of similar to the first one, I started with analysing the brief just to get the overall key points down, because there's a lot of fluff when it comes to briefs. So I just wanted to get down to the key points. I then looked into Digdata's background, so finding about who they are, what they do, a bit of graphics that they've done to show who they are. Overall, it was a bit confusing as to what Digdata actually does. They're quite vague, and I didn't really understand what they were doing. All I knew is that they, use data, but I was a bit unclear as to what they actually are. So then I looked into the actual proposals, or what we are designing the infographic for. And then just finding the company values. So looking on the PDF and online and finding the 5 values that socially is positive impact for them. And then just what further information would be useful. Again, I would probably have called them up and just had a nice little conversation with them just to find out a little bit more sort of info on them. And then it's in infographics, so trying to be inspired by different types and different styles. I then created loads of different data sort of value designs, map styles, icon styles, just so I can cover the overall, every idea I have in my head. And then going down, I then chose and designed a few different infographics, finding out different layouts, different colors, different sizes, just so I can get my ideas down on paper. And overall, I feel like it's effective with what I've covered. Then got some feedback, thinking about more isometric, more 3D maps, taking that forward and being a bit more like a diagram with the circles to find out more information. Then further looked into their branding and looked into what they do. So finding out the color schemes, looking into the typography, their website designs, how they can then implement their design and their brand across. And this was very helpful because it shows where they use hierarchy and when they use certain colors to depict a certain emotion or feeling within their designs. But overall, I wasn't really happy with their brand. I don't think it works. I'm not sure they've got a clear hierarchy or design style, because most of the examples, like here, blends in within the design, and there's not clear hierarchy here, whereas that should be filled in and that should be outlined. Again, there's not consistency. When you go on their website, it's quite over the top and scattered and all over the place. So I wasn't sure on the current brand style, but what I was going to do with mine is try and take that forward and make it a little bit more cleaner. Blended into the competition, so looking at different design styles and how they are effectively used within the branding. My 2 proposals, again, I tried to be as close to the guidelines as possible, but I actually don't mind the triangle designs. I think they work really well. But for an infographic, I feel like it needs to be one side, one image, rather than 2 sort of double-sided. But maybe if in the future I did sort of further promotional work, then I could look into that. Linked into the designers, into what they do, and try to implement the designs within my work. Looked at the values and redesigning the icons all the way through. Again, mediums, I wanted to go more into leaflets and websites and social media, because they're very much in today's industry. But with each one being a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting, rather than just a flat 2-dimensional design. I then weighed up the pros and cons, and looking at each element of my design and what I can do. Most of it was just 2D versus 3D, or color versus no color. But overall, looking at the style, it feels like I was more inclined to the colorful designs. And here, as I'm just creating my design, so I went more of the isometric map, creating the leaflet, so thinking more interactive and sort of a little bit more interesting rather than a standard A4. And again, website design being interactive, so people can actually click on each one and find out a little bit more. And then sort of poster designs, Instagram designs, again, just putting the same information across towards each area. And then I analysed it and weighed up the pros and cons. And overall, I feel like I've done really well with this project and answered the output